Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jens, here from beautiful Western Australia, and yeah, we have a glorious day. It's about 17-18 degrees. I finally can wear a t-shirt. It's freezing during the night, and this morning we had frost on the lawn, but no, it's beautiful warm, and yeah, it's all doing fine. The koi are doing great. I'm really happy with the pond so far at the moment. And yeah, today I wanted to talk about a bit about keeping koi here in Australia. It's a bit different to koi keeping in Europe, America, or other parts of the world. Here we're a bit restricted with keeping koi, because in most parts of Australia or most states they are banned, and so yeah, banned as a species of carp. So they put the government or the environmental protection departments put the carp into the koi into the same category as the carp. So we're only allowed in Western Australia, New South Wales, and the Australian capital territory to keep koi. Victoria, I read something about you can keep koi if you apply for a permit, but it's pretty hard to get a permit. That's what I read on the internet when I looked into the rules and regulations of this ban. So yeah, as I said, most parts here in Australia they are banned. Here in Western Australia we're very fortunate to be allowed to keep koi as a hobby. However, we're not allowed to release them into the wild. Well, of course, to protect our rivers. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why we have a very old bloodline here in Australia, and we can't renew the bloodline with koi from overseas. So we can't import new bloodlines of koi from Japan or Europe into Australia. So we have to keep breeding our own koi, and that is the main reason that the quality of our koi are not as to the standard as they will be in Japan or Europe. But we're getting better because the hobby gets more and more popular in the states that allow the koi, and we have a few breeders here, and of course a lot of people are breeding koi as a hobby and as a pastime activity, and we're trying to really get a nice, good quality koi bred. So yeah, and there's a anecdote about that. The first koi that got imported to Australia were imported by a senior executive from Woolworths, who fell in love with them somewhere outside Australia and imported them. That was just before the ban came into effect here in Australia. So since then, yeah, we haven't got any new koi. So for a couple of years since they got imported, we had got plenty of koi into Australia. They are, of course, always some sort of smugglers on black trades. They sort of import koi into Australia on the dodgy way. I mean, a couple of years ago, someone in New South Wales, Sydney, did it, and he introduced that way the KHV virus into Australia. So he wasn't very popular for that action. Otherwise, yeah, it's all our own old bloodline we have to do with, and that is another reason it makes it hard here in Australia to have coils compared to here in Europe. We are very limited in the equipment we can purchase. When I first started with coils, and that is about 10 years ago, it was very hard for me to find a place to buy the actual koi. There were only there was one place I knew only about who was breeding and selling kois. Everywhere else around you only could get goldfish, and that's how I started. Couldn't find koi, so I got nice fancy goldfish for a start. Till I then found that place. The funny thing is, the place was almost it was in the neighborhood of my first job I had here in Australia, and I passed probably the place so many times that I never realized that I was actually a koi breeder, because I didn't know that. For me, as coming from Germany, with German we only know the word goldfish or kois. I didn't know the word Nishigi koi, so, and that was his company name, so I passed it every day back and forth and never realized I was actually a koi breeder. Just clarify this part. So that's where I got my first kois. Then in the last couple of years I got really involved with the kois. I found out a few more breeders here around, not many, well, probably 2 or 3, plus the hobby breeders that do it in their backyards. And yeah, so I got my 2 last lots of kois. I got one from a breeder near Perth, and then another one I got from the first koi show I visited here in Australia in Perth a year, more than last year, not this year. Yeah, the year before I went to the first koi show. Compared to US and Europe, a tiny little show, but if that's all you have, you're pretty happy with it. And it wasn't a great day out, and I was amazed about the kois that were on show there. Probably for you in Europe or in America and Japan, are probably really average kois, but here for me they were amazing pieces of art, you could say. Yeah, but as well, it's not only hard to get the kois, it's hard to get the equipment, the pumps, filters, you know, all that stuff that comes around with a hobby. Your medicine or other supplements you put into the pond. It's like I try to get hold of that koi pond clay, you know, what you have in Europe, the anti-medi clay, and it's pretty funny, the fock. We can't get it here in Australia, so if I would have to get it, the only one I can get is the medi clay, and I get it from England. That cost on eBay, I think it was $35 for the bag, plus almost another $30 in shipping. So I was the last few weeks thinking and hammering and howling about how I could get it. I'm not really keen. I wasn't keen on ordering it from England, because the last time I ordered from England, it arrived, but it took 6 months. And it was just a little air stone. I should have read up on the description that it comes from England. I didn't see it coming from England, but it took almost 6 months to arrive here in Australia, where I could got it from AliExpress out of China in a week. So I was thinking and going on about it. other day I looked into the ingredient, what is actually the meaty clay, and I found out it's actually what we get here everywhere around the corner. It's basically sort of bentonite clay. That's what it is. Or I can't pronounce the other word, the Montezella clay. Don't can have a good laugh, but I can't pronounce it, and I'm not trying another time to pronounce it. But the bentonite clay is the same as that clay, and I can get a kilo bag for $30 odd around in a nice in a what do they call them, organic food store, where you use for that is used for human consumption, for as a supplement in your dietary or as a skincare product. So I thought, well, if it is food grade stuff, it can't be bad for the coils. So I had a friend actually at work who said, "Oh, I can give you a bit. You can give it a go." So I got 250 gram from her, and I took it home and I put it into the pond this week, and it gave me amazing clarity in the water. I want to say, actually very amazed how good it worked. And it does now 4-5 days ago since I got home. The coils are happy, they look fine. I'm super amazed about the water clarity. And yeah, so I went today to our local health food store, and we're on a small town, it's only a small store. They ordered in, so I ordered it, and the next 2 weeks it will be here. And yeah, it's the same price as probably, well, maybe cheaper than what the meaty clay is, but it is $30 for a kilo. I'm pretty happy. So that's what I will use in the future here on the pond every couple of months as a supplement. Yeah, that's an example how hard it is to get all this equipment. Excuse me, a little tea. So a few years ago it was impossible to get good quality pumps, you know, or Arza pumps or anything else that is a good quality pond pump. The only pumps you could get are these cheap Chinese pumps. They're not bad, but well, when I say cheap, you pay $150 for a pump, and the Arza pump costs $1,000. Yes, of course you pay a bit for the name of the pump, but still there is a quality issue in it. And I had it all the time. Every time I had these pumps, and they're the cheap pumps, they work fine if they're in clean water. If the water's clean and you care for them, they will last. I don't know how long. The longest I have now had is now, let me calculate, 5 years, I think. It's 5 years old. I don't know what the flow rate is still on it. It works, has a little leak, the housing has a little crack. So that's one of the issues you have with these pumps. The plastic or the housing is more not brittle, but it's thinner and not as strong. So you have to be very careful with those pumps not to over tighten the thread or bump the pump for some reason. Easily the housing is the main problem where they could crack. And then they don't like dirt. All the pumps I used behind the skimmer, as soon as a bit more algae came through, bang, they clog up, and you constantly clean them. And then if they run too often dry, they just die on you. So yeah, there is a reason why a pump costs $150 or $1,000. And these Chinese pumps have now gone up in price in the last few years. So now a good 20,000 vari pump from China, we will roughly set you back $350. So a bit more. I think it's now even more. So this is why I decided now I buy the good quality pumps. A Waza or a Genesis pump, where yes, I pay 4 or 5 times the price, but I can rest assured that those pumps will not fail on me in the near future. Everything that I heard from all the experts on YouTube, on the internet, these Oaza pumps, they have them in the pond 10, 15 years and they're still running. So if a pump runs for me over 10 years, it will pay off itself. It's because I've spent a fortune over the years on these cheap Chinese brands. And I'm not saying that they're bad products. I mean, for the price you get a good product. I'm not arguing that point there. You get what you pay for. That's like everything in life. There's a price for everything, for the quality. Yeah, the pumps now, it gets in the last couple of years, since I got more and more involved in the hobby, and I'm really now passionate and almost obsessed with the hobby. Yes, we're now have much easier to get good quality gear from Europe or America. You have to search the internet to find those dealers here in Australia. They sell them, and then you have to order it online from over east, Sydney, Melbourne, sometimes here in Perth. Yeah, there is a dealer I know. But the pumps are easier now to get. But filters like the Nexus, drum filters, they're super expensive to buy here, and then they get their special orders as well, so you wait a long time. It's not like Europe where you can go around the corner to your next koi dealer and there's so much competition. Then I will not say cheapest chips, but much more cheaper than what we have to pay here in Australia. So that's why a lot of the gear here in Australia is being made themselves, multi-bay filters. You can get the drum filter. There are people that sell them, but you still see most people make them themselves. Like I did multi-bay filter brushes. I've seen people converting old sand filters, pool sand filters, into koi pond filters. This is much easier and cheaper to get an old second-hand sand filter here in Australia than anything else for a pond, because swimming pools, clearly on our climate, it's everywhere. Yeah, so yeah, that's one of the things. It's the equipment to buy. It just, even if you buy a good Oaza pump, I made an example, the Oaza titanium 31,000 pump, to put it in perspective. What you pay in Europe, you pay about 1140 euros for the pump in Europe. If you convert that into dollar, that will be $1,800. Or put it up, $1,800 or $1,900. Here in Australia, you go and buy it from a dealer, and this is the price most dealers have here. It's $3,200. So this, you can see, we not only have the koi tax, as well the tax that it's not a common hobby, the kois. So, and then you have, even if you and that's why I decided I import it from Europe into Australia myself, pay another $150 for shipping as well. I still save $1,000, $1,200. So it's just, and my next pond in a few years time, I'm planning to build another pond on a different property, because we just a couple of months ago we bought another block of land, and we're planning in a few years time to build a house there as a investment into our retirement. That's still a long time off, but what I want to do is there have in that investment probably have a koi pond as a feature, and there I will buy, probably, very likely, still go with brushes, but I will import, if it works out, a paper fleece filter, because I think they are amazing filters. I think they're in one way a bit superior to a drum filter, for the simple reason there's not much electronic on them, hardly any. Though the one I like to buy has no electronic whatsoever. It's all mechanical, and it just works by the water movement. And yeah, you might have to clean, swap out the filter, or the paper filter, every couple of months and replace it. But what I heard or saw on the net, the clarity of water and the fine filtration it does is superior to any drum filter or any other filter out there. But that is a future plan. I'm waffling off into somewhere else. So yeah, we got the, and of course we got koi clubs here in Australia, or one koi club here in WA, Koi Society of Western Australia, and yeah, we've got two branches, one for the northern part of Perth and one for the southern part of Perth. For me, I joined the koi club because I thought it was very important to be a member of the koi clubs scene, just to just have the support and the knowledge from all these people. Even I can't attend it that easy. I haven't attended it yet. I'm not a member a year and a half. I think a year and a half or 2 years now I'm a member. I haven't attended a single meeting. It was a shame. But the problem is most of the meetings are on days when I'm at work, and the problem is it's 2.5 hours from our place here in Bridgetown. It's in Perth, so for me to attend it, me and my wife have to go up there, maybe visit friends where we can stay, or book a hotel where we then stay, and I just join the meeting for the night. And I really like to plan that in. I really like to go and attend a meeting and just get to know the people here in Australia, or Western Australia, in the koi club scene. So that's on my plans. So yeah, what else can I say about our hobby here, or koi keeping? It's yeah, certainly much different to you guys in Europe. Has a bit more challenges, but I wouldn't miss it for a bit. I love it, and it's a great hobby. And I mean, we have dogs, we have other animals, chickens, but for me, the kois give me, dogs give me a pleasure too. Don't get me wrong, I love my dogs, and I wouldn't live without a dog. But kois, when I look at them, they just calm me down and just relaxing, just sitting here at the pond. One thing I sometimes hate, and I would love to design, and I always think about the next house. How could I design that I could watch the coys from the inside of the house? And I'm not talking about CCTV camera, because yeah, as a it could be a solution, but my thinking is more having. I've seen amazing koi ponds out there, and some people have them integrated into the house, and well, that's a cost factor, and I'm not that rich. I don't think I can plan that in, because it's, yeah, the cost involved. Yeah, but I'll think about sometimes, could I design the next koi pond that is adjoining the living room from the outside. That is basically, you look outside the living room window and you see the koi pond straight away. As well, have your al fresco around it. So that's my big planning for that next property. Well, really, I haven't my mind up yet how to design it, but that's in my consideration of planning, that I can see the course even on a cold winter day from the inside of the house. So yeah, that's one of the big plans I have. So I hope I think I touched most of the stuff about keeping koi's here in Australia. As I said, it is not we only have 3 states, or 2.5 states. The ACT, Australian Capital Territory, is Canberra. It's basically only the capital city there. And then New South Wales, on our state, Western Australia, we're allowed to have koi's. We have to be very mindful and responsible, because we don't want that the government decides to ban the koi's here in our state as well. There are always people coming up with these ideas to ban it, and it's one of the things here in Australia. They're going always a bit too far, too quick, and they're quick in banning things, but they're as well quick in introducing stupid things. Like the talk is about, because we have especially over east in the rivers, they have a plague of carps, the European carp, and it has gone rampaged over there. And I understand the reason why they banned the common carp. I don't see the koi. Why ban the koi? It's like, you want to, if you go and ban koi's, you might as well ban dogs, cats, horses, because they're all non-native, and that's just the reason that when it comes to these bans, they say, oh, they're not native to Australia, for Australia's flora and fauna. Yeah, well, if you be that strict on it, then cats, dogs, everything else that's not native to Australia has to be banned as well. But yeah, I understand there's a big problem in the rivers over east, with millions of carps swimming around there, and they're talking about releasing the KHV virus. I'm not a fan of that, because in the past a lot of things they have been released to combat one plague or pest here in Australia have caused another plague. It's like, a good example is the cane toad. Cane toad got introduced to combat, I think it was a beetle in the sugarcane plantations. So they imported and introduced the cane toad into Australia to combat that beetle. But the cane toad will discover, oh, they're much more easier targets than that beetle. So, and it's the perfect climate apparently for the cane toad. So they spread in a matter of, I think, 50 years from Queensland all over the country. I think Tasmania is the only state that hasn't got the cane toad, and that's probably more the reason than Ireland. Plus, they're freezing cold in winter, so that's not good for tropical toads. But they have made the journey from Queensland over to WA in these 50 years. We have no sightings of cane toads here in WA, and that is about, I think, 4,500 kilometre distance, and it's going basically almost through a desert as well, half desert. Foxes is another example. We introduced the fox to combat the rabbits. When the rabbits got introduced in Australia as a hunting game, and then they got rampant. So what the English settlers thought, oh well, it worked in Europe, so we introduced the fox. And the fox came and thought, oh, the native animals here are much easier to catch. Leave the rabbits, so we have now rabbit plague plus the fox plague. So everything that got introduced to combat one plague is usually turned against us, and I see that same could happen with the KHV virus, that maybe native fish get affected as well. And just as another example for introducing virus, every couple of years they introduce a new virus to kill off the rabbits, and it hasn't worked. When 2 years ago they released the virus in my area here, and I haven't seen a dent in the population of the rabbits. It's like they're immune against it, or it didn't work as planned and only a couple dead rabbits happened. But we have an infestation of rabbits here, so at the end I think we have to start living with it, and just let nature do its own work. So yeah, that's from me here today. I just wanted to give you a little insight in our koi keeping and how the hobby is here in Australia. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment. I'm happy to answer. If I can't answer, I will let you know. I'll try to find out. I'm pretty sure some people will have questions about certain things I haven't been touched on with our koi hobby here in Australia. But yeah, it's all for me today. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, give me a thumb up. Yeah, and then till my next video, enjoy the hobby and see you next time. Thank you for watching.